Alright, I haven't done a great deal this time. It's been quite cold at times, and unfortunately I had an accident which left me one-handed for 10 days. But never mind, I've managed to do a bit, and this is it. Well, these are all the new carpets, and those that require sound deadening, like this one here, which goes over the wheel arch, has already got the dead sounding material stitched in or glued in already. It's all made to fit. Only problem I have is they're not quite the same as the original carpets that I've taken out, because some of them are sewn together, like this one. So I've still got to find out where they fit. The sound deadening material on the back, but it's the edging which is so good, beautifully made. All I've got to do is try and fit them. Right, the first job is to replace this. I don't really know how thick it is with all that rust on it. I think it might be 1.2 millimeters, or possibly the 1.6 16 gauge, which was the original size of metal that was used on cars. Unfortunately, mine has got to be 2 millimeters because it's the only bit of steel I'd got. The problem came with the captive nut. When I tried to clean them out with a tap, it didn't want to fit. It started to cut metal. So I checked the threads, and it turned out that it's not 26 TPI, but these are 28 TPI, which makes them UNFs. And I've no idea where I can get UNF bolts from. These are, I've got the 4 of these which go round the ring, round the gear lever. And I managed to find one single nut which I have brazed onto the plate. So that should be alright. But I haven't got any bolts, so I've had to reclaim these. They're a bit crude, but they've got good threads on, and there's no load on this anyway. I've given it a good couple of coats, one of etching primer and one of a top coat there. Not that probably needs to be painted at all, really, underneath all the carpets. One problem I do have is that the 4 of these that screw into the ring, 3 of them are fine, that's not a problem, and the threads for these bolts, they're all okay, that's not a problem either. But this one screwed into a captive nut on the bodywork. Unfortunately, it's not there. So one of these was just screwed into space. So I've got to devise a way of fixing a captive nut somehow on the underside, and there's no way I can get to it to braze it on like I've done this one. Well, I'll find a way. This is where the hole was that had the missing captive nut. As you can see, I've opened it up with one of those step drills. It cuts the hole bigger, and I've tapped it with a 26 TPI thread, 1/2 inch. My only worry is that the weld that was on the back is still there, and it might well have knocked the cutter off centre. Well, I won't know that until I bolt the plate back on again. This is the step cutter I used to cut the hole in the bodywork. Anyway, this is my solution. It's a plug, and in the middle is the 28 TPI to replace the captive nut. And to stop it going right through, I haven't quite completed the 26 TPI. The last one is just a little bit shallow, so it should be too tight to go through. The screwdriver slots are sort of an emergency really, because to fit it I shall just use another bolt with like this, with a locking nut on. Like so. Like so. And then I can screw it in tightly without any problems. I just hope it's in the middle. That's the plug in place. I had to solder on a washer, a 1/2 inch, to make sure that it really didn't screw right through. It's now in quite tight. Well, the cover plate's on and all the bolts are fitted, but the black ring which goes round the gaiter doesn't actually line up with the captive nuts. Not perfectly anyway. But there is some degree of latitude, because between the ring and the cover plate is the thickness of the gaiter. So they've all screwed in okay. The plug is slightly out of true. It's still vertical, but it was knocked off centre. It's a bit of a tight fit, but I think it'll be okay. This is the plan for the 21 pieces of carpet. They're numbered in order of fitting, so it's pretty straightforward. Well, the carpets are going on quite well, and this is the tunnel, which is moulded to fit beautifully, nicely finished and so on. Although it's very nicely made and finished, it does have one problem. The distance from there to the other side is 10.5 inches, and the distance from the mat there to there, which is supposed to fit round it, is only 9. I've been on to them at MGOC where I bought the carpets, and they insist that it fits. Well, you can see that this piece here is nowhere near fitting up to that corner, so they insist it fits, and give them their due. They have said they will take the carpets back and give me my money back, but that means ripping out all these carpets, because they'll have to have all those back. This is the carpet for the wheel arch, moulded, sound insulated, fits perfectly, all the holes are prepared. The only trouble was it had got this piece on. you stick this piece onto the arch, this piece is going to be on the window. So that can't be right. Well, MGOC, whom I bought the carpets from, couldn't come up with an explanation because it's nothing like the drawing. But of course in the end I realised the carpet maker had left the scrap piece on. You just simply cut that off. And there it is finished. There was quite a lot of spare carpet to cut off, but it fits quite nicely. Don't think I'll have any problems. It's the hardest part to fit, I think. The rest of the carpets are quite straightforward, but this was quite tricky. Some of it tucks under and some of it just butts up against the metal. When I took up the old carpets, I came across these grommets. They're in 1-inch holes. There's a matching one the other side, and I can't think why anybody would need to make 2 great big holes in the floor pan. There are hundreds of videos on the MGB on YouTube, which is probably why I'm not getting many hits. But maybe somebody out there can tell me why these 2 big holes in the floor pan. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching.